It was one of those nights where every little argument feels like the end of the world. My wife and I fought about something so small, so insignificant, that I can't even remember what started it. But I do remember her voice, shrill, relentless, echoing in my skull like knives scraping glass. The final straw was the toilet seat. I had left it up again, and she screamed as if I'd committed a sin too great to forgive. I couldn't take it. I grabbed my jacket and left, calling my buddy Paul. He told me I could crash at his place. Paul lived in a huge, almost empty house on the outskirts of town. Too big for one person, I always thought. The moment I stepped inside, it felt hollow, like a museum. Every sound carried, our footsteps, the clinking of beer bottles, even our laughter, which didn't feel natural in such a cavernous place. He offered me one of his 3 guest rooms. Strange setup, I told him, noticing how they were all lined up side by side along the hallway. His own room was across from them, doors facing one another like watchful eyes. I picked the middle guest room, figuring it was easiest. The bed was neatly made, sheets tucked hospital tight. The room smelled faintly of dust, like it hadn't been used in years. For a while, everything was fine. We drank, talked, laughed about stupid things. But once the lights were out, the house changed. Its silence wasn't peaceful. It was heavy, pressing down on me. Sometime after midnight, just as I was drifting towards sleep, I heard it. A faint sound. A rustling. Like fabric dragging against wood. It came from the room beside mine, one of the guest bedrooms Paul kept locked. At first I ignored it, convincing myself it was pipes or the wind. But the sound grew sharper. A knock. Then, a whisper. My skin prickled. I got up and padded barefoot into the hallway. The house seemed darker than before, every shadow too deep, too long. I tried the doorknob of the room next to mine. Locked. Cold to the touch. I crossed to Paul's room, cracked the door open, and asked if he heard it. He was in bed, drowsy and annoyed. No. Probably nothing, he said. Those rooms stay locked. I keep stuff in there. Don't worry. But when I pressed him, he added something that unsettled me. I always keep them locked. I went back to my bed, unsettled. The noises stopped. For a half hour, silence returned. Then, tap, tap, tap. Soft. On the wall right next to me. I froze, my ears straining. And then, a voice. So faint, like someone speaking through cupped hands. A childlike whisper. Let me out. I shot out of bed, heart hammering, and ran back to Paul's room. This time, he didn't brush me off. He grabbed a keyring from his drawer, and together we went to the first locked guest room. The moment the door opened, a cold breeze brushed past us. The window was wide open. Curtains fluttered inward, pale in the moonlight. Inside, the bed was disturbed, sheets wrinkled as if someone had been lying in them. The closet door was ajar, its shadows yawning like a mouth. We searched the room. Empty. But the drawers that once held Paul's valuables were open, and bare. Paul paled, realizing someone had been living there. 4 days. Maybe longer. Panic drove us to the third and final guest room. With trembling hands, Paul fit the key, and the door swung open. We both froze. In the faint light from the hall, we saw the shape of someone, a figure, climbing out the window. The silhouette was dark, ragged, movements jerky like an insect. It slipped onto the patio roof and was gone in seconds. We rushed outside, but the night swallowed him. Nothing but silence and trees. We returned to the third guest room. And what we found will haunt me forever. The bedspread, white as bone, was smeared with blood. The closet floor had a knife. Paul's missing butcher knife, its blade spotted dark red. Empty bags and wrappers littered the corners. It wasn't just a squatter. Whoever had been living there was feeding, hiding, waiting. And we had been sleeping only feet away. To this day, no one was ever caught. But every time I think about it, I wonder, was that whisper in the wall a warning? Or an invitation? Story 3. Jordan's childhood sleepover. I was 10 when it happened. 10, old enough to think sleepovers were adventures, but too young to understand real fear. My best friend Jordan invited me over for the night. His house was big, with a basement that seemed like a dream at first, a wide space with couches, a huge TV, and shelves crammed with old board games and dusty VHS tapes. It felt like the perfect playground for two kids staying up late. We played video games until our eyes burned. At 1 a.m., we shut the controllers off, laughing like rebels for skipping teeth brushing and collapsing onto the couches. I fell asleep easily, but the night didn't let me stay asleep. At some unknown hour, my eyes cracked open. The TV was still on, but the screen had gone blank, a pale, humming light that made the basement glow just enough to see. That's when I noticed it. In the far corner, by the bottom of the staircase, something stood. It was tall, unnaturally tall, almost scraping the ceiling. Too thin, too still. My young brain couldn't comprehend it. It didn't look like a person, but it wasn't furniture either. Its shape seemed to pulse with the shadows, like it was breathing. Then the TV flicked off with a sudden click. Darkness drowned the room. I shut my eyes tight. My heart hammered. I didn't scream. I didn't move. At some point, exhaustion forced me back into unconsciousness, though my last waking thought was that I was not alone. The next thing I remember is the scream. A woman's scream, tearing through the silence upstairs. I bolted upright, and Jordan shot awake too. His mom. We sprinted upstairs together. She was in her bedroom, sobbing, shaking, pointing at the doorway. Jordan's dad tore the room apart, opening closets, slamming doors, searching for an intruder. But no one was there. No broken locks, no open windows, no signs of entry or exit. I'll never forget the look on Jordan's mom's face. Pale, trembling, eyes wide with terror. She refused to talk about it for years. But once, when Jordan and I were older, he told me the truth. His mom confessed what she had seen that night. A figure. Tall, impossibly tall. Standing silently in her doorway. Watching. The same figure I had seen in the basement. I'll never know what it was. Shadow. Spirit. Something worse. But I know this. When I woke up in that basement, staring at the corner, I was staring at the exact same thing that terrified her upstairs. And whatever it was, it still follows me in dreams.